it's another the way they've done it here, where that epic choral melody is still playing. You are still Metroid behind the visor, scanning and fighting, but they have just glued on this like annoying, like, I don't know, like the worst style of MCU humor. Like when it's bad, like that level of like quippiness and cringe to a Metroid game that is otherwise fundamentally unchanged. Like if you lifted Miles from this, it would be Metroid Prime and it would be great. But they made Metroid Prime and then just like dropped this guy into it. And it just feels like a really bummer of a direction. Let's talk about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. This is a real game that is coming out in 3 weeks after 8 years of waiting. I have played it. I have played roughly 1 hour, between an hour and 90 minutes of it at a preview event last week in New York City. 2 of the 3 amiibo are out now. I said I wasn't, but I caved and I got just the normal Samus one, not the giant one with Samus on the bike. And here it is. Now that no, okay. Oh, but we are dancing around right now. There it is. There's the amiibo.
Oh, it looks so cool.
Nice.
Shiny.
It's very nice.
I want it.
But I played 2 different segments. The first one was what you're seeing on screen, but not this version of it. This was from the April Nintendo Switch 2 premiere event that Brian and I were at. This is the intro to the game. Samus drops on a planet at a Galactic Federation base that's in a war zone, and you fight through it. It's very cinematic, epic sci-fi action. And then you're introduced to Sylux, the bounty hunter who's returning from Metroid Prime Hunters, is the main villain in this game, who breeds his own Metroids. That conflict is introduced, and then Samus is whisked away by this mysterious artifact to the planet Vuros, which is where Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is going to presumably entirely take place on. Before I go any further, everything I saw is in like the first 90 minutes of the game itself, so don't really worry about super big spoilers. Like, I know the setup for the story, which I'm going to talk about, and like the first boss, but it's like the equivalent of if I told you what happens in like the Great Deku Tree and Ocarina of Time. Like, it is not a very big chunk of this game at all. I walked out of this preview event the most like conflicted I've ever felt walking out of a first party Nintendo preview event. And I know I was joking a lot earlier in the show about a chatty companion. That's a real big issue and a real big bummer in this game that I'm going to get to. That's the bad. I want to start with the good, which is that this game looks amazing and it runs phenomenally. I played the Switch 2 edition. Nobody knows how this plays on Switch 1 yet, except Nintendo and Retro. Just like Legends EA, we'll know at launch how it is on Switch 1. But on Switch 2, man, it looks good. Like, it is a cross-gen game. You can tell in some ways this is not a full-fledged, like all cylinders Switch 2 next-gen exclusive. But Retro Studios is one of the most talented like art direction teams on the planet. So give them a chance to make this cross-gen game. Prime 4 on Switch 2 looks absolutely incredible. Gorgeous vistas, great environments, really dense textured foliage in this forest area I was in. I played it at 120 FPS on the Switch 2 and handheld. So smooth, so awesome, looks great. Played it in 4K 60 on the TV. Looks just amazing. Like, this is stunning. It's not the best game you've ever seen, but it is, I would say, living up to that legacy of Metroid Prime being really dang good-looking games with really, really strong art direction. It starts out with exactly what you would think. You land on this planet, and the camera snaps into Samus's visor, and you're off and running. I start scanning absolutely everything in sight, recording it to my logbook. Atmospheric music is playing. I'm shooting little bats and like gas spheres and things that pop out of the ground with my arm cannon. It's Metroid Prime. Like, it is straight up Metroid Prime. Then I go a little further. I have the morph ball. Samus loses most of her things. She doesn't lose everything this time. She still has her double jump and she has the morph ball. You start gaining the psychic powers, which are one of Brian's biggest hangups of this. Kind of one of mine too, a little bit after this demo. We'll see. A lot of it is using Samus's psychic visor, which has replaced the scan visor. You use the psychic visor to scan the environment, record your logbook like normal, but also to complete these puzzles. Like, some of them are very basic. It is tracing these shapes they outline for you with the control stick or with motion controls, depending on your preference. It is using the force to move a giant lever from one side of a door to the other, and it takes like 10 seconds to open that door. And that's it. Some of the smarter ones are there's these little, they call them motes of psychic energy that Samus can telekinetically manipulate, and she needs to like move them from one thing to the other. Like, this door is locked. You need to look around and find 2 of these little energy balls to throw into this door. Maybe one of them's behind a missile thing you have to shoot to reveal. very basic, but this is the first area. So I think
Yeah.
it's things that could really step up as we go. This is the tutorial area to this game and these psychic abilities. It's retro, it's Nintendo. I expect these puzzles will get better as we go. Then there's like the charge shot where we've seen in all the trailers. You can charge up your beam and fire it, and then the camera follows it, and you're steering it with the control stick, and you can hit like 3 targets at a time with it. That played into the boss fight, which I'll talk about a little later. Very cool Metroid-y, Zelda-y stuff. Like, get this weapon. It's both a weapon and a key to solve puzzles and fight enemies. Solid stuff. This all sounds good, right? This sounds like
Yeah.
Metroid Prime.
Sure, yeah.
How have you found the controls so far? Because I got to play a teensy bit of this in Poland, just the tutorial level, like the little bit at the beginning with at the Galactic Federation headquarters or whatever. And they made me use the mouse controls, like they wouldn't let me play it normally, and I found them really. My hand doesn't want to fit around a Joy-Con and use it like a mouse like that. And I found that sort of frustrating for the things that I had to do. So I'm curious, like, what you think of that.
There are 3 control schemes in Prime 4. I tried all 3 of them at my demo. Mouse
cool.
is the worst. It's the worst one.
Okay.
Like I liked it when Brian and I tried it together in April, but that was the day the Switch 2 was announced, and it felt very new and exciting. Wow, there's a mouse in this Joy-Con. That's cool. Now that the dust has settled, the novelty's worn off a little bit, I'm not going to use it. And I don't think you should either, especially because Metroid Prime is a lock-on first-person shooter. It is not, you have to aim down sights perfectly at every enemy. It is like a 3D Zelda. You target your enemies and shoot them automatically. So don't worry about controls. It controls fantastically. It feels really great to control. I used a Pro controller for most of my demo, just classic stick controls, no motion required. Great. Feels like Prime Remastered, but a little better because this is not a remake of a GameCube game. It's a new game. So it feels fantastic. And then the other control scheme is split Joy-Con, and it's mimicking Prime 3 or the Metroid Prime trilogy from Wii. And you aim the reticle on the screen, so there's more motion involved. That feels great too. If you like how the Prime trilogy controls, that's a really good option too. So it controls really, really well and plays really good too. I noticed a couple of small updates, like when Samus transitions from morph ball back to first person behind the visor running. Before, it was always like this. In every other Prime, it's kind of this awkward pause as she transitions, but now she keeps moving in whatever direction you're running. And she does this little like back pedal that you see as the camera is zooming back to go back into that first person view. So it's like just a really small touch that I noticed that made a difference.
That's nice.
That's awesome. I plan on playing this game almost entirely with a Pro Controller or Pro Controller 2 or in handheld. So yeah, that's going to be my way to go. I'm with you, Reb. I think thinking about playing this game long term with a mouse would be too much. I mean, I've seen that people sell like those attachments on Etsy or whatever, but still, I want to play this with a regular controller.
Also, I was having a hard time in like the ideal conditions where they had like a nice smooth flat surface with a big mouse pad. I don't have that in my living room. I have like a normal person coffee table at a normal person coffee table height, which is not like desk height. It's like down here, and I'm on the couch and I'm like leaning back in a big pile of pillows and cats. I'm not using a mouse, man.
Yeah, there's just too many buttons you need to use in Prime 4.
Okay. That's exactly what it felt like. It felt like I didn't have enough buttons.
It expects you to still use the face buttons on the controller that are part of your mouse. And that just doesn't feel good. It doesn't work.
Well, it makes me feel better that I'm not crazy and just not understanding Metroid Prime. So thank you.
Yeah, no, you don't need to use the mouse controls. I think few people probably will, which is fine. That's not a disappointment to me at all because it controls great with a Pro controller in hand, which is what you want. I also want to say, because we've just been seeing some footage of this on screen, I didn't get to try the bike at all or see the desert at all, which means nobody gets to. I think this is the final preview event. So this is going to remain a mystery until launch. How good are these open segments on the bike in that desert they keep showing in the trailer? My preview event ended with Samus returning to the desert, which my indications so far seem like this will act as tissue that connects the major explorable zones. So like instead of elevators in Metroid Prime, where you take an elevator from Fenanjana Drifts to the Talon Overworld, you go out to the desert, you get on your bike, and you ride to the next area. That's what it seems like to me. But I didn't get to do it, which I really thought I was going to get to going to a preview event for this game when they've talked so much about the bike lately.
Yeah, that is weird.
Let's
I was just gonna say I feel like we've said this on the show before, but I feel like they don't know how to market this. Like, the bike does not look exciting. They keep showing it, but they won't let you play it, which immediately leads me to think, oh, the bike's not going to be very good. But we don't know that. The bike might be super fun, but what's going on?
Yeah, well, here's a reason I think they're having trouble with how they've marketed it so far, Reb. And that is because they've been hiding something from you. In every piece of footage we've seen so far, this has not been in it. And that is our good friend by the name of Miles McKenzie, who is a Galactic Federation engineer specialist who Samus runs into. She gets this distress beacon on her map, which, by the way, the map is a Metroid Prime map. It's the blue and orange with the rooms you visited, the ones you have, this 3D wireframe thing that you manipulate. She gets a distress beacon to go find this Galactic Federation guy. She gets there, and this cutscene kicks in. And he says, I think I have the exact quote somewhere, but the first thing that he says is, wow, 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 wow. This is really, really bad, but at least you're not stuck in a cubicle with Phil anymore, so win? That's the first thing this guy says. That is this tone of humor they're going
Samus?
For. No, to himself.
Oh,
he's talking to himself.
Okay, I was like, when did Samus work in an office?
Yeah, he's stranded on this ship that is like stuck in these vines, and you walk in and he's talking to himself. He's stranded on Vuros as well, because seemingly when the artifact transported Samus, it also transported a lot of Galactic Federation people, one of whom is Miles McKenzie. And he starts with this honestly kind of cringy monologue about a joke about being in a cubicle with Phil. It just does not... The seconds before this, I'm like stalking through this really atmospheric dark tunnel, and this gorgeous choral melody is playing, and I'm chasing after this little creature that's bleeding out, and I'm like, what hurt this thing? And it's very Metroidy. And then you get to this clearing and you see this ship and you see this engineer, and he starts talking like that, and it is just tonal whiplash. He gets attacked, you save him, and he's like, oh, thank you so much for saving me, Samus. Here's some missiles. And I was like, okay. He gives me the missile upgrade. Bye. And then he says, I think I'm going to tag along. So where to? It might be a good idea to check the map and get our bearings.
No.
So within like
Shut up.
1 or 2 lines of dialogue, this guy not only joins the mission, he also tells Samus what to do. He tells Samus, check your map. And I felt like my stomach drop when this was the direction it started to go. I couldn't believe what I was seeing after how encouraged I was from the first 15 minutes to now. And it just got worse and worse. Here are some quotes that I did sample in my preview, so sorry for the repeats if you've already watched that. But he says, missiles are effective against creatures with a hard shell, you know. You pass a save room and you don't go in to save because it's a preview event. I'm not going to waste a minute going into the save room. He says, that looks important, Samus. Are you sure we don't need to use that? Referring to the save room that I'm walking by. I scan a lore tablet, which enters into my logbook because the new race is called the Lemorn. And very cool part of this game is that there's always an ancient race on these planets in Metroid Prime. And the conceit this time is that the Lemorn entrusts Samus to document their entire history before it's lost to time. Very cool idea. Because Samus is very much like a detective, a historian in these games. So to make that the plot of this is, our race is extinct. This planet could go away at any time. You need to save our history before it's gone forever. Love that. You scan one of the tablets and Miles says, can you read that? Does it say anything about this place? Wow, they really don't want anyone in here. It must be a sacred space. It is constant. It's constant to the point where his voice lines are interrupting his own voice lines. Like he cuts himself off because you see something else that he then comments on. And I swear, I am trying to approach this very fair. I am not exaggerating. It is almost nonstop when he is with you. There's like little combat scenarios where he's not talking all the time, but he screams whenever an enemy jumps at him. Like super cool atmospheric moody thing. This
So he's not even like in your headset. He's following you physically.
He's with you.
So it's an escort. It's an escort mission where
leave Samus alone. She's working.
Yeah, like so.
Don't talk to her.
Okay. Sorry.
It sounds fake. I couldn't believe it, but this is it. This is the direction this is going.
Okay, what's driving me nuts here is that we've we've tried this before. We've gone down this path with Metroid where there is another character telling them when they can and can't use certain items, where there's another character talking to you the whole time. We saw that in Fusion. When that game launched, there was backlash to it. When this is not I don't want to speak for everybody, but I will say that for me personally, when I engage with Metroid as a franchise, it is to be left alone. It is for this isolation. It is for this, just this dark, bleak, quiet sci-fi world that I am exploring at my own pace, and having somebody interject constantly takes me out of that. But we've tried this. It didn't work, right? We tried it with Other M. It didn't work. Like, why are they doing this again?
Yeah, and it's one thing if Metroid wants to strike out in a new direction and introduce a companion and have this stuff and fundamentally change what Metroid is, which I have a problem with, because it's like, at what point does something transform to become so unrecognizable? It is no longer what you fell in love with. We're not quite there yet with Prime 4, but it feels like a step towards that. But it's another the way they've done it here, where that epic choral melody is still playing. You are still Metroid behind the visor, scanning and fighting. But they have just glued on this like annoying, like, I don't know, like the worst style of MCU humor. Like when it's bad, like that level of like quippiness and cringe to a Metroid game that is otherwise fundamentally unchanged. Like if you lifted Miles from this, it would be Metroid Prime and it would be great. But they made Metroid Prime and then just like dropped this guy into it. And it just feels like a really bummer of a direction. Like what you've seen so far, you could get over an hour more every week. Catch full episodes of Nintendo Voice Chat over on the IGN Games YouTube channel or on your favorite podcast service. Links are in the description. We hope to see you there.
Did they feel like see, and this is the thing we don't know, right? Like, we don't know if he's with you the whole game or just like for this level. So like, I mean, my question is, well, he's ruined this level clearly. But like, did they do play testing, and were people like was their game design too bad, or were they like were people too stupid to figure out like what you do with the missiles? Like, is it not sufficient anymore to like, you pick up a missile and then you immediately put in front of the player an enemy that cannot be defeated with the normal shoot? Mm-hmm. And you think, well, I just picked up these missiles. Why don't I try that? Oh, it works. Yeah. Now I know how these work. Like that's like Nintendo's been doing this for decades. We just complimented them like 20 times in a top 100, where they did this very, very well throughout the years. Like, why was that not sufficient here?
I mean, it feels like a deliberate choice, right? They had to script a character, they had to record VO, maybe mocap, all this stuff. Like what you're saying, Reb, is like, if they could have just done like circumvented this with a couple of pop-ups and stuff like that, and it's less elegant, air quotes, but it's better for Metroid.
Yeah.
Like it's baffling to me. I'm just sort of like, I don't understand where in the timeline of the development of this game anyone was like, this is a really good idea, let's stick with it.
I do want to back up a little bit, because it isn't the entire time. So before people like leave the video or the podcast, it's not forever. And again, I'm trying to be very fair. I don't like delivering this bad news. I was so psyched to go and play Metroid and very upset when I walked out of that with this being the reality. Like this is a bummer. But so you keep going with him. He keeps saying his lines. He's constantly talking, including a line of literally, quote, "I can see the door, Samus." Thank you, Miles. Thank you for stating the obvious. And you get to one point, it's this bridge. It's a very beautiful bridge. It's this Lamorne, like ancient construction with overgrown forest. It's such a beautiful area. And these jungle monsters start jumping over the sides of the bridge. And I have had enough of this guy. I'm going to see what happens if I leave him behind. You can't shoot him. I did try. I'm just going to try and leave this guy behind. And so I just beeline for the door. And he says, "Samus, don't leave me behind. No." And I'm like, I'm gonna see what happens. And then I get a thing on my visor that pop up that says, "Miles is down. Oh, use your psychic powers to revive him." And I'm so far away from him because I was intentionally trying to leave him behind that he died. He dies. Game over. Game over screen says Federation Trooper killed in action.
Oh.
And this is the like of all the things Metroid Prime 4 could have been, all the mystery of 8 years, I would have never guessed it would include outdated escort missions with a companion who never stops talking. Never would have guessed it. So also the fact that it says Federation Trooper killed in action instead of Miles killed in action. And also you scan Miles. He gets added to your Galactic Federation logbook. Then there's 5 more question marks after Miles. I'm like, oh, so each area is going to have a companion. That is my current read, because you do eventually get to this thing that they call base camp in this Lemorn temple. And Miles discovers this technology that's broken. And he says, I'm going to stay behind and fix it. Samus, you go off and explore. I'm like, oh, thank God. Like, finally, peace and quiet. I can leave. He says a few more annoying things on your way out. Like, it's about to get real nerdy in here is something that he says in this game. And then you leave, and it's great to go through this temple without him. And you fight a boss that's just a very classic, like, GameCube era boss, honestly. Like, it feels great in that way. I say that as a compliment, where it is this giant plant creature that looks like it's from the Wind Waker. And it has this big tentacle. You shoot the tentacle, belly pops out, you fire missiles into the belly. Rinse and repeat. But then it grows 2 tentacles. And by the time you destroy the second, the first one grows back. So you use that charge shot I mentioned earlier to slow down time, to cut through both tentacles at the same time. It's like, yep, use the thing you just got to beat this boss. Super classic stuff. Great. Loved it when Miles wasn't around. Really excited for Prime 4 when Miles wasn't around. And then you get back to Miles. This is like a jump scare when I was playing this game, because I'm like, I'm so glad Miles isn't here. And then he's like, pops up on my visor and he's like, I got the comms working, Samus. Come on back to base camp. Yeah, he doesn't talk to you that much in the comms.
Go back to base camp and give him a swirly. Good grief.
Oh my God.
Right. Yeah, so you go back. Samus and Miles agree to be partners now that the comms are back up and running. He says he's going to stay here. Samus leaves the area. My preview ends with the shot of the desert. Samus is alone, but Miles can talk to her anytime. So my read is totally each area is going to have a new Federation person that you recruit that is a companion. What's the extent of it? Are they all as annoying as Miles, or was it like that because it was the tutorial? I hope that's the case. That's currently the best case scenario, is he is like this because it's the first 10 minutes of the game. But even still, I don't want to be traveling with a companion. Like, cutscenes, story, characters, fine. But when I'm out Metroiding, let me Metroid is how I feel about it.
I did just admit on the podcast earlier that I've only played one Metroid, which is Super Metroid, but my impression of these games from Super Metroid and from just my passive cultural knowledge of all the others is that Samus is alone for like 99% of these games, and then occasionally a bird person talks to her. That's what I got.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
and there's nothing else. Like, there's no other like there is a Galactic Federation somewhere.
They get more involved in the later games, but it's always what people don't like when they do.
Yes.
When they do get overly involved.
Like, they're in Prime 3, right? But it's kind of in the margins in that game. They're there early on and you deal with them a little bit later, but they're not a recurring presence throughout the game. They're not explaining everything you're literally looking at with your own eyes. Like, anytime, like, Other M dabbled in that territory, right? And it was almost universally disliked. And you'll always get somebody in the comments of this video who are like, oh, it's my favorite Metroid game. Okay, cool. You're weird. You're not wrong, because it's your own choice, but it's like, that game is just not anywhere near on the level of the best games in the series. And the best games in the series leave you alone. That's the whole point. They just leave you alone.
She also has a scan visor that can give her information if she needs it. Like,
yeah, you've got in-universe tools that can deliver whatever you need to you that doesn't involve recording VO, right? Like, you just don't need that. So
and it's like, maybe do they want to tell a bigger story with more characters? Or do they think Metroid doesn't catch on because it doesn't have enough like cinematic cutscenes, moments, characters? This isn't the way to do it. Like, there are way more nuanced and better ways to push this franchise forward and keeping intact the reasons people love it to begin with. That is not this. Like, I don't know who this is going to please. Like, new players? I don't know. I heard someone in my preview event say, yeah, that was really funny. I didn't expect it to be funny. I'm like, I didn't either, and I'm not happy about it. Nor did I find it funny personally. But your mileage may vary on that. Yeah. Bummer. But it's a bummer. We'll see.
Yeah.
We will see.
Metroid's
it also like just
game.
the I guess just the sort of lack of information around this game so far. Like, you got to play over an hour of it and you still don't know how the motorcycle feels. That's kind of worrisome, right? Like, I understand leaving a lot to be surprised with when people play the full version of the game, but having stuff in marketing and then not having it in a preview, and then hiding other stuff that is in a preview that we don't want. It's a bummer, man. this is one of my most anticipated video games of all time, and now it's kind of a gut punch. It's not your fault. I'm not shooting the messenger here, but
yeah,
it is kind of a bummer to all of a sudden be like, oh, this could have been like this big, powerful return to form, and maybe it still is, right?
Yeah,
but
this
just
is
knowing,
1 hour. It's the first hour.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just knowing some of this stuff is there definitely takes the wind out of my sails a little bit.
I think it's not helped by the fact that we know this game has had a rocky development, because it got announced like 50 years ago or something at at E3, and it's changed developers. It's been apparently rebooted. Like all these different things have happened to it, and we didn't hear anything for like years and years. I think that if this game had just been announced like in April or something, and then we saw like 2 trailers and then this, to be clear, this would still be really obnoxious, but I think we would feel less like our hearts would be pounding a little bit less, I think, just because we'd be like, oh, this is just a Nintendo cycle. There's probably more we haven't seen yet. It's probably they'll probably pull it off. But the fact that we know things this has gone through something, we don't know what, is like very concerning, and the marketing's been weird, and so it just raises more questions from me than it normally would. And I just kind of want this to be out so we can just know, like, just rip the Band-Aid off what is going on with Metroid Prime 4. I hope it's great. I hope it's great for all of you.
Yeah, I hope so too. And yeah, I just feel like, also reading between the lines, this is the section they chose to show in a preview, so it's probably representative of the final game. So it probably is a fact that Samus is going to have these chatty companions traveling with her. Oh, and I tried to turn it down in the menu. Never before at a preview event have I dug through the settings to see if there's something I can change, because it is actively like ruining my experience so much. And because some games have it, right? Like you can make Atreus talk less in God of War to give you fewer hints. The only way to do it here is to just turn off voice acting entirely, which you don't want, because then it would look like Legends EA and it's cutscenes, and nobody wants that. So yeah, there's not really a choice. The only gameplay settings were to turn off tutorials, which is when something pops up on the visor telling you what to do, which all Metroid Primes have this choice to turn on and off, and to change the difficulty. There's casual, normal, which I was playing on, and hard, which you only unlock after beating normal. So this is it. This is it. At best, it is a fun, really cool retread of Metroid Prime that's a neat return that looks gorgeous on Switch 2. And at worst, it is the chattiest Metroid I've ever played. Yeah, so we will see the full thing in 3 weeks when Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is out on Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. If you want to hear what this actually sounds like and see that I'm not cherry picking here, this is what it's like, go watch my video preview, because we're including the voice samples from Miles, so you can see this is a constant thing that happens, but you'll also get to see the good stuff, like the really beautiful opening area and the really cool boss fight that I mentioned. So go check that out, up now on IGN. Thanks for watching Nintendo Voice Chat, but this was just a clip. Click the NVC playlist right now to find new weekly episodes and the best from our backlog. Come hang out with NVC every Friday.